Do you know you've been on this show for years? Years you've been coming on, and nothing fired up quite like the last time you were on. And we made a little bit of a video short about it, and it went crazy. And do you have any idea what it was about?
No.
It was about Ellen. And I mean, we didn't even. I asked you about Ellen. I said that she is supposedly the worst person to work with, whatever. And you said, I said, can you elaborate on that? And you said, well, I'm not really sure because I did sign an NDA, but also there is a lot of amount of time, and she's not working. She's been shunned anymore, so I could say that she's the worst person that I've ever met in my life. And we kept it pretty much like at that. Then
Yeah.
I guess you went on Rogan, and Rogan brought it up again. So somebody spliced up the video of Rogan asking you, and then you responding on this show, and it went out there, and it has just gained so much steam.
No way.
I'm dying to know. Like every time it comes, and it'll come up in my algorithm, and I'll see, and I'll go, "Oh, hey, that's us," you know. And I'm dying to know what the hell was so bad about Ellen. Like in my mind, like this. Do you remember a couple of years ago when all this news came out about Steve Harvey, where you weren't allowed to look him in the eye, and when he
Yeah,
walked
yeah.
out? I related to that. I was so sick of getting off the air and couldn't get from the door to my car without salespeople asking me about this, that, and the other thing and stuff. And I have an agent. Go talk to him. I don't deal with any of this. But that got so. Now imagine you're somebody famous like Steve Harvey and worth all this money, and you have to make all
Yeah.
these decisions. I got it. I understood. What was so bad about Ellen? Especially for you, a man. Like you're not taking crap from people. I mean, you're not the biggest guy in the world, but you're not a pussy by any means. What was so
Yeah.
bad about Ellen?
It was psychological. It was like this thing where, we go into the writer's room, we get to work at whatever, 9 a.m., and then we go right into her office. She had this big office,
Right.
and we'd sit around, there was like overstuffed chairs and like leather couches. Very cool. We sit there and drink cappuccino, and it was like a loving environment until,
Uh-oh.
like, I remember one time I made a joke about Justin Bieber, and she goes, I love Justin Bieber. And it was like, oh, so nobody else can have a different feeling about Justin Bieber because
Right.
you like him. And then she iced me. And then every joke I would tell for 10 days, she would literally not react and look away and say, all right, who's got something else?
Wow.
And so it was this thing where she would push you out of the circle and then pull you back into and when she pulled you back into the circle, oh my God, hand on the leg, laughing at what you were saying. And so for me, it wasn't that big a deal.
Right.
But for other people that, had mommy and daddy issues, and she, when you're working 14-hour days and she's the boss, like it becomes a very powerful dynamic. That person's approval starts to meet, especially when people are getting fired constantly.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just being ostracized from the circle. It was genuine fear for your job. And so everybody felt that fear. And I remember the first, like I was hired as a writer producer, and I was there for like the creation of the show. So I was there for like 3 months before the show started, kind of building what it would be.
Right.
And one thing is we needed an audience warm-up person.
Okay.
So we did a bunch of test shows, that we didn't tape just to run it. And so the executive producer goes, Greg, grab the wireless mic. We had an audience. She goes, run up and do audience warm up. It's like, oh, geez, I don't want to do that. So I go up.
For those people who don't know, you have to kind of go up and do a little stand up, get the audience involved to try and get them hyped up before the show actually starts, so they're not a dead audience.
Right. So I go up and I do that. And it turns out I don't need to get them jacked up at all, because it's a bunch of housewives that don't realize they're lesbians, and they are losing their minds. They are like trembling. And so my job was to warm them down. Right. I had to just luckily my stand-up lends itself to that. So I would do a little bit of that. That would take the edge off. And then I do a little cry. Anyway, so I didn't know what I was doing. So anyway, comes to taping the show, and then Ellen goes, I want you to be the warm-up guy on the show. I said, there is no way I'm going to be the audience warm-up guy for a daytime talk show.
Right.
And they said it's an extra $4,000 a week on top of your writing schedule. And I go, so I just use the wireless mic.
Is that an average price of what those guys get, or they just offer? Really?
Yeah, because it's covered by AFTRA. It's
so
covered by the Actors Guild. Yeah. So you get benefits with it on top of that.
Wow.
So I go in, and the first day, I don't know what to do. So I go, all right, here's what we're going to do. First day, I go, you guys want to do the wave? So I go, I'll say, whenever I say a word, it starts over here, we do the wave. So I go, all right, when I say banana. So anyway, I woke up this morning and I had a banana, and they do the wave, and they love it, and they're cheering, and I go, all right, we're going to get started now. Cell phones off. Don't talk during the show. Ellen comes out, standing ovation for 5 minutes. She does her little dance, and then she goes, does the monologue. Halfway through the monologue, I had forgot. She says the word banana.
Oh, shut up.
She says it. The crowd does the wave, and she has no idea why or what's happening. And this is a woman who is a complete control freak. And she goes, what was that? And now they think she knows about it. So now she goes, all right, let's reset. Let's try it again. She says banana again. They do the wave again. This goes on 3 times. She is red-faced and angry. I have to walk up on stage and tell her what happened and then tell the audience not to do it. Well, I got off stage and I got called into her office. And I mean, it was like the iciest, coldest, I felt so bad.
Really?
And I felt awful because,
but I mean, she couldn't find any of the humor in that?
None.
Really?
None. Zero.
That is so insane. She's a comedian. I mean, and the idea that you had the audience in your pocket like that, she should have been so happy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.